Hi, this is Lou from Lou's Antiques and Collectibles, and we buy and sell stuff for our 2 antique booths in our 2 antique malls that we're in. So we are still here at the Michigan Antique Festival. We spent the whole weekend here, and boy did we have a great time. And this is episode part 5 of 6. So make sure if you want to see the festival, you take a look at all the videos. Now the very last video is going to focus on the car show. So there is tons of outdoor dealers here. There's several buildings just full of dealers. There's entertainment, there's the car show, and tons of food. So we had to see it all because we were here for the whole weekend, and the campground's attached right to the fairground. So that was super handy. So let's go talk to Jessie about her wood burning.
So this is Jessie Stevens Woodburning. I'm available on Facebook, and while I've been at the Midland Antique Festival, I've been working on this koi fish ironing board. I like to find random wooden objects like an ironing board or a little table or a cutting board, and then I add art to it. And I've been working on this for probably about 15 hours now. I started doing the wood burning while I was stuck at home for COVID. It was my COVID hobby. I like to tell people that some people baked and some people gardened, but I burned things. And then about a year ago, I started doing my wood burning art on old book covers. So I will find an old book at a library sale or sometimes even in the recycling bin, and I will give it new life by adding art to the cover. I prefer to do animals. They're very forgiving. And I've done a few flags and tractors. Everything I do is hand-drawn, although some of my small items are laser reproductions of bigger items that I've done. I have a oak cradle with Winnie the Pooh on both sides. He's a real crowd pleaser, as Winnie the Pooh and Piglet will fly over the scenery while it rocks. And I found that kit at a yard sale, and I added the Winnie the Pooh to the sides, and I put the cradle together with my husband's help. And then I started wood burning on these old guitars that my dad had in his closet. He means to fix them up and sell them. These are broken guitars that I turned into art. My koi fish, I'll have a guitar like it available at Art Reach's Art Walk in August. And I know that that's a real crowd pleaser. And my most recent guitar is my sunflower guitar. I just got done with that last week. So that's my wood burning, and this is my little wood burning pen. And it's a great hobby. It smells good. I encourage anybody to take it up if they have any interest in working with wood and heat. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Jessie. So let's go look at some of the glassware they had here. This is a piece of Boopy by the Anchor Glass Company, and $12 for a set of 10. That was super good price. I probably should have picked up on those. A lot of times people think those are Candlewick, but they're all really called Boopy. So we're going to look at these outdoor vendors, and then we're going to look at some of the dealers that carry car parts. So let's see what else we can find. Oh, here's a nice piece of Candlewick from the Imperial Glass Company. There's 2 pieces there, a tray and a divided dish. How nice. My sister actually collects that. So it's beautiful. It's more of the elegant glassware from the Depression era. And here's a nice piece of also elegant glass. And this is called Caprice. And here's another piece. The same pattern. Beautiful. There was so much glassware here. Boy, it was really cool to see. I saw things I never saw before. That's for sure. And I looked at the hats because I often buy hats and sell them at the malls that I am, but I usually stick with like brands or brands of companies or things like that. Not local companies, but like nationwide brands and sports teams and things of that nature. And here's a bunch of books and some old boxes. And those there are drawers for sewing machines. So we see those a lot at flea markets, and everybody seems to have pulled those drawers out of the old cabinets, and they sell them separately, which they're great for displaying items. And I have quite a few of them that I use to display my smalls at times. And those there are for lightning rods that were usually on top of barns, those glass things, those that are round in various shape. And here's some nice old signs. Some you might want to use in your own driveway. Or as decor on an old barn. That looks really cute. We used to do that too with our barn. And here's a nice piece of spoke or patrician. And look at all the cars. There was a lot of nice old metal cars in this booth. So a lot of the dealers on this side of the event, they didn't have necessarily business names, but they were collectors who just sold extra stuff or had things around their home that they sold, maybe did 1 or 2 shows a year. But it was kind of cool to see them because they had a big variety of items. Look at that old house. So nice. And there's some racing memorabilia and a couple of Barbies. Brand new in the box. And here's some nice Coleman stoves. We're going to go camping with. Lanterns. And here's some nice old Crocs, some Harley Davidson signs, and some lanterns for your decor around your house. And like I said, a lot of the dealers had huge varieties. That's a cute little John Deere tractor and wagon. So you had to really go to all the dealers to make sure you didn't miss out. Oh, there's Snoopy. That's cute too. Because sometimes in the midst of cars or tools, there'll be jewelry. So you got to really check it all out. This gentleman had the cement statues, and he was also at the Davisburg show, but he had a huge variety. They were really cool. They are really good sellers. I often pick them up when I see them reasonable and sell them at the antique booths, and they do quite well. You have to be careful not to get them chipped or cracked, though. That's the key on those. You want them to be perfect. People use a lot of those things for around their yard. And here's a nice cocktail set. Or a water glass set, you could call it, in the leaf pattern. And here's some more depression glass, and some old eggs, some art glass there in the front, some carnival glass, and some nice Fenton. And a nice water pitcher there. And this pattern's called Diana. This is the child set in Diana. I actually had that and sold it. I had it with the original metal thing that held all the pieces together. And even though it had all the original stuff, I didn't get a whole lot of money for it because it was a clear pattern. They're not worth quite as much. And this one here is Twisted Optic. It's depression glass. And here's some Doric, also another depression glass pattern. And we have a big variety on this table, some trays. Oh, there was a Goofy figure there. I didn't see that. Usually I spot up on that. And there's some nice old toys. Those metal tops are always good sellers. Even the new ones I've done well with. And here's a little oven. It's not an Easy Bake oven, but it's another brand. I don't think I've ever seen that. That's pretty cool. And an old Cabbage Patch doll. And this set was super nice. It is Hellenic Green by the Jeanette Glass Company. And what was nice about it is they had the complete set in green. The ice bucket, the trays, the coasters, everything. So if you wanted a set of this would have been the way to buy it, because you never see the complete set. Very nice pattern. And I'm not sure, that looks like the ashtrays to me, which I've never seen the ashtrays to that pattern. They kind of are not in vogue anymore like they used to be. And here's some toys. I always kind of dig through these to see if there's any cool action figures. They're only 50 cents a piece. I'm not totally knowledgeable on what to buy and what not to buy, but I know some basic things. Like I know wrestlers are pretty good. Any kind of Marvel figures are pretty good. Ooh, there's a wrestling guy. Oh, he had a hole in the back. He must have attached to something. Or anything Disney, I always gravitate towards. Now, this was nice. This was a big bin of wrestlers. They were $5 each, which might not have been a bad price, but for me, I'm not confident in what I'm doing, so I'm not going to pay much. And these toys were $1 or 7 for 5. And, oh, there's a Goofy. He's coming home with me. That's going to be from my husband. He collects Goofy figures. Let's see if there's anything else in there. And that was pretty much all I found. And here's a nice piece of glassware. And this is Cape Cod by the Avon Company. That red glassware. And you see a lot of it. And here's a meat grinder. And some dolls. And C-clamps. That's what I mean. You got to look at every table. You'll see a tool next to a doll. You never know what you're going to find. And here's a nice table full of glassware. Lots of Fenton. There's some fairy lamps there. And little covered chickens. Some beautiful glassware on this table. And looks like to be some Karol in there. It's a good place to come if you're working on a pattern and you need to complete it. Because there was lots and lots of dishes there. And most of them you could buy it per the piece. And here's some Pyrex measuring cups. I've never seen one in blue. That was kind of interesting. And there's your more traditional ones that probably most of us have in our homes. There was all a variety of sizes there you could choose from. It's nice to have a bigger one and nice to have a smaller one. And these are beautiful Pyrex dusting bowls. And this is Forest Fancy. And this is a refrigerator set made by Pyrex from 1956 to 1958. And this is Butterprint Turquoise made from 1957 to 1968. And this one is the lime green Pyrex cake plate or oblong plate. Here's another pink bowl in the Pyrex. And another dish in teal, which I had a hard time finding that one. And this is some Corningware, variety of different patterns. And this set is made by Blendo. It's a mid-century frosted glass set. And here we have a variety of mugs, and some of them were Fire King, and some of them were Pyrex, and some of them were other brands. But there was a big variety of them. I've had that apple covered dish over there in the back before. I don't know much about it. So if any of you know anything about that, shoot me a message. Not sure who that was made by. And here's lots of old Tupperware. They made lamps out of repurposed objects, and then they rewired them all. It's nice I had an electrical company because you know it was safe if you bought a piece here. This one was really interesting. It had a clock on there, and it showed all the raw mechanisms in it. And here's a nice old piece that they rewired. Beautiful. A couple nice floor lamps. And you often see those at sales, but they definitely need to be rewired to be safe. So this gentleman has the skill to do it. Ooh, I like that stained glass one. That was really nice. Beautiful. And I don't know if you can see in the back there, but that turquoise one, then the floor lamp there, that's actually a hairdryer they made into a lamp. How cute is that? It's definitely something different if you want something different in your house. And here's another little stained glass lamp and a 2-bulb lamp that was very old. And this dealer had lots of painted furniture, and they did work on old windows. There's a mirror and some nice old trunks that they painted. Kind of made them a little bit shabby chic. And here's one more in its natural state. And lots of old bottles and old chip canisters. I've had a few of those. They sell relatively good if you priced them reasonable. And a needlepoint picture. And these old screens were pretty tempting because I've done a couple videos on how to paint pumpkins and snowmen in old screens. But I passed on them. Probably should have got those because I could have made more of them for the winter. Beautiful old pictures. And some different fishing things. Lures are kind of difficult for me. I don't know a lot about those. So, but I know that if they're wood, they're probably old. But I don't have the knowledge. Now this thing here, the gentleman told me, is to put kerosene into a stove. It drips it into the stove as you're using it. So that's obviously for a very old stove because we certainly don't use kerosene in our homes anymore. But anyways, that's what this was, which was really interesting. And there's the patent on it. Very cool. I would have never known what that was in a million years if he hadn't explained it to me. These two dealers kind of were showing me things within their booth and explaining what things were. That's always nice to know it. Those Mickey Mouse hats were very old. And these phones here, they called them barn phones. I don't know if that's the official name or not, but what they would do is have them go from building to building on a farm. But I'm sure they were used in other situations too, where they needed two phones like that. It looks like they actually wired together. And isn't this cute? It actually works with the cymbals. How neat is that? I used to play the cymbals when I was in high school for a marching band, so I was kind of attracted to that. I should have bought it. It was so cute. And you never see them that they work. And these are very older Mickey Mouse hats. They were some of the original ones that they made, that they had in their booth. How nice. And here's a big bowl full of jewelry. Of course, I got to look in there. Ooh, that pin was super nice. It ended up having a stone missing, so I passed on it. And it was a type of color stone I don't necessarily have extras of. And this was a nice clear piece. I did pick up that. See, you just never know. There's a bowl of jewelry in the middle of a kerosene oven thing and phones. So you got to really look through all the booths because you just never know what you're going to find. Which makes it more exciting and fun. And that one came home with me. It was only $2. What a buy. Couldn't resist that. And here's some more Corningware dishes. And we're going to try to do a Pyrex video pretty soon so we can show you a lot of different patterns that they have out there and the years it was made. So stay tuned for that because hopefully we'll be doing that very soon. We're kind of working on that now. We're trying to get lots of footage of different Pyrex pieces to put in it. Ooh, that was a nice splatterware bowl set. Super cute in the red. I'm not sure if it was old or new, but that was super nice. I would like that for my home. Especially on the red, white, and blue. You never see that color. So cool. And there's Bambi. And Bambi, I picked him up and he was really heavy. He was like cement or something. I thought that would be cool around my daughter's house, but that was pretty heavy to haul out of there. I don't know how to done that one. And there's old sleds and some lamps. Lots of furniture. And some books. And more furniture. Even some electronics for your home. A huge variety on this section of the flea market. This is the Shabby Sheep and Jake's birdhouses. And he made all those birdhouses. They were very cute. He used old license plates on some of them as the roofs. Nice job. Those are really unusual. And they also had some furniture in their booth that they refinish or painted. And there's a cute little end table in blue. And that there is an old toaster. It's cool. And more furniture, a cute little table. They had lots of small tables in this booth. I was really looking at them all because you can always use little small tables. This is Timberwood Antique Mall. And they had some cool signs in their booth. A nice Pepsi sign. I would have liked that for my barn. That would have been neat. And look at those old cars. Very nice. And they also have some old cars there. And look what I found. I have never seen this since I was a kid. Me and my brother had this with the 2 Corvettes on there. And we used to fight over the red one. But I always seemed to get the yellow one. So that toy we used to play with all the time as kids. So wasn't that cool? And I told my brother about it later, and he said, you should have bought it. Because next time, buy it for me. I don't care what it costs. Because I'd like to have that old toy back. We had a lot of fun with that as kids. That was way back, probably late 60s, early 70s. Nice tennis rackets and some pillows. And some dishes and a little piggy bank. And looks like some Pyrex covered dishes. Toys and rolling pins. And this is a piece of sandwich glass, and this is made by the Americana Company. That was the cookie dish. Or the cookie jar, I should say. I actually had that at one time. I think I sold it. And there was an old bone from a horse. That's what they told me. They were teasing me it was a dinosaur bone. I didn't have a clue what it was for, so I guess that's what that is. See, you never know what you're going to find at the flea market. It's not certainly something I was looking for, but there it was. So we got some more dishes and some swords. And a cool old lamp. The giant light bulb on it. And here's some camera gear. Of course, we were in this booth for a while because my husband's a photographer. He liked all this stuff. Lots of old cameras. And we used to have our studio decorated in old cameras, but we got rid of a few of them. We needed the space for other things. But what a cool way to decorate a room. It looked really nice. The people always had a conversation about it when they came in. It was kind of a conversation item. And here's some more old cameras and lenses. Lots of parts for cameras if you're looking to refurbish one. And there's an old Mickey Mouse phone. Cute. And a movie projector. I remember those in school as a kid. Probably a lot of the schools still have those. Not sure if they use them anymore. They usually have TVs in their rooms anymore. And this is Rick's custom neon and vinyl signs. And there's his email there, and these signs were beautiful. He took signs and he put neon around them. Oh, they were so cool. If you had a man cave, you would definitely want a piece of this in it. Very, very neat. And he had a tons of them. So if you're interested in any of those, check out his email there. I'm sure he could accommodate you folks. But man, those were super cool. Wow, I'd like to put some of those in my basement. Those are so nice. Beautiful. Cool idea if you have the skills of doing it. So here's some folks still coming in, going to the car show. And we're going to look around at the dealers here at the car show to see what kind of car parts and those types of things that they have to offer. So I'm going to let you just enjoy this footage because car parts are not something I specialize in, and I couldn't tell you one thing from another. So let's just take a look and see what they have. So our next video is going to be the entire car show. So there was cars coming in throughout the weekend, and we tried to get as many as we could so you could see the big variety that came in. It was a huge car show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That'll be out probably next week. So let's recap the things that we got to do. We got to see all the car part dealers. We got to see all the outdoor vendors. We got to see the indoor vendors. There's tons of food and entertainment and so much to do here. So definitely come check this show out. There's 2 shows in the fall and 2 shows in the spring, and check their website and make sure you get your dates and come on out to the show because it was a blast. And we got to listen to some of these guitar players. They were lots of fun, especially when you needed a break. You could just sit and listen to them and enjoy the entertainment. So much fun. And the beautiful cars, of course. So this is Lou from Lou's Antiques saying goodbye, and we'll see you again. Bye.
Come on out and rescue a piece of American history at Michigan's largest treasure hunt.